clear breadcrumbs leading all the way in the past that show that she was out here trying to destroy other co-stars' names because she just was in her Fifi.
It wasn't at all. I knew that was the last thing in the world I wanted to do. But also before I started acting, I knew that that was the last thing in the world I wanted to do. And then I did Sisterhood and I was like, this is fantastic, I love it.
Blake Lively once carried an image so pristine that many assumed she was nearly flawless. Her quick wit in interviews, her glamorous fashion statements, and her fairy tale marriage to Ryan Reynolds combined to make her Hollywood's golden girl. But behind that glowing reputation lie hints of a more complicated story, one involving onset feuds, questionable behavior, and a high-stakes lawsuit that's dominating headlines. Is Blake Lively truly the kind-hearted star many believe her to be? Or have we only seen a carefully curated persona? The answers might surprise you. For years, rumors and hush-hush testimonies have swirled about her alleged controlling ways, particularly on the set of Gossip Girl, the teen drama that catapulted her into stardom. Now, as legal battles unfold involving Justin Baldoni and even tangentially referencing Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift, it appears that these tensions may have existed far longer than anyone dared to admit.
And you have to almost turn down better opportunities to stick out that show. That's why you always see people that seem to despise the show that made them famous. Yeah. I kind of feel like Blake wanted to do bigger things and probably thought she was above that. I mean, once you do these shows, you memorize a couple lines. It's not rocket science. They're not out there doing like, Philip Seymour Hoffman level act.
Let's peel back the curtain and piece together the puzzle of Blake Lively's increasingly convoluted public image. When Gossip Girl first premiered, fans couldn't get enough of the upper crust Manhattan drama and the cast's breathtaking wardrobes. Filming in the heart of New York City, the show quickly turned its young actors into international icons. Ed Westwick, Penn Badgley, Leighton Meester, and of course, Blake Lively were practically worshipped by fans, swarmed on sidewalks as though they were rock stars in a sold-out tour. Paparazzi hounded them, and every outfit Lively wore, both on screen and off, became an instant trend. Yet, as the city glowed under the show's hype, rumblings from the set painted a different picture. Former extras, like Dave Neal, alleged that Lively often appeared grim or aloof during filming, as if she despised the very project that made her famous. In Neal's words, it looked as though she was bored or simply counting down the days to escape the show. The bustling production schedule, the chilly nights when they had to pretend it was a warm spring day, the lack of rest. Sure, those factors would wear on anyone. But some claim Lively's occasional complaints and too good for this demeanor went beyond normal frustrations. This is where her aura of perfection starts to crack. Fans might never have guessed that the radiant actress on their screens might be the same person privately rolling her eyes during production.
We have some weird connections, and I tell you what, Blake Lively looked miserable back in the day, and I've always tried to give her grace and always tried to say, you know what, maybe she's just trying to memorize her lines, but here we all are shivering, doing some spring dance scene in January in New York City, wearing next to nothing outside. They literally have heaters to kind of melt all the snow, and then there she is in her plush fur complaining about, her day when we're getting paid, $112 for 8 hours work.
On the outside, she was Serena van der Woodsen, effortlessly stylish, endlessly alluring, destined for a bright future. Behind the scenes, she was rumored to be an actress longing for something bigger and better, at times letting that impatience simmer into discontent. It's crucial to remember that in show business, illusions are everything. The world sees the glitz and glamour, not the relentless hours or the possibility of friction between cast members. But if these early hints of dissatisfaction are true, they could be the seeds that later grew into full-blown controversies, overshadowing the successful run of a show that shaped the generation of pop culture. One of the loudest alarms went off when an old interview from 2009 resurfaced. In a chat with Glamour UK, Blake Lively confessed to an incident that, in hindsight, looks more alarming than playful. She recalled how she found out that Penn Badgley had been cast as Dan Humphrey, her eventual love interest on the show. Instead of celebrating the new colleague, she poisoned her fellow cast members against him before he even had a chance to make a good impression. According to Lively herself, she was so upset upon learning about his casting that she talked trash until others started to share her bias. Of course, Lively insisted that her initial hostility melted away, claiming she quickly realized Penn was actually a nice, charming person. But the entire scenario raises questions about her behind-the-scenes persona. Why such a strong reaction in the first place? And what if he hadn't won her over so quickly? Was this an isolated incident of immature frustration? Or does it point to a pattern in how she navigates professional relationships?
They had a bad rate, the CW rate. They pay you less, even in the union, than other shows. So, yeah. So not a fan, but I mean, it was culturally speaking. I mean, in New York, I remember days that cast was treated like the Beatles. They really were. You'd see Ed Westwick running from one location to another with a bunch of girls chasing after him. It was a wild time to be alive.
So wait, do you have any details on the Penn Badgley and Armie Hammer of it all? Because we're hearing now that Blake Lively, there was an old interview in, I think it was Glamour magazine in the UK, where she talks about poisoning the cast against Penn Badgley because she didn't like him when he was first brought onto the set. And then we've also heard these resurfaced stories from Armie Hammer where he claims he only ended up taping 4 episodes of Gossip.
Adding to the puzzle, co-star Taylor Momsen offered a contradictory view of Penn Badgley, saying she had no bad memories of him at all. Momsen suggested that if Lively truly had issues with Penn, it might have been more about her own personal dislike than any real wrongdoing on his part. The question lingers, did Lively's initial attempt to turn the cast against Penn reflect genuine fear of a so-called jerk, or was she creating tension to maintain control of the set hierarchy? Interestingly, Lively and Penn dated in real life for several years, an on- and off-screen romance that had fans swooning. Their real-life relationship mirrored their fictional character's storyline, until they broke up in 2010, making it painfully clear that mixing personal and professional ties can lead to ongoing friction. And friction is the last thing you want when you're filming 12-hour days alongside your ex. Some suspect that these overlapping boundaries only added to the complications behind the scenes. At the same time, Penn Badgley never publicly spoke ill of Lively after their split. Other than standard post-breakup awkwardness, he kept quiet, focusing instead on his next roles and personal interests. Meanwhile, Lively soared to greater fame, snagging movie deals and forging brand endorsements. But were the unspoken tensions from those early days truly buried? Or do they point to deeper cracks in Lively's once squeaky clean public persona? Blake Lively didn't remain in the realm of teen drama. After leaving Gossip Girl, she snagged roles in movies like The Town and A Simple Favor, showcasing her acting range. She became a staple at red carpets, brand sponsorships, and fashion events, forging friendships with influential figures like Anna Wintour and, of course, pop superstar Taylor Swift. At least from the outside looking in, she was unstoppable, yet whispers of discontent trailed behind her. While some praised her shift into film roles, rumors persisted that her quest for serious work made her difficult to collaborate with. Former acquaintances, often speaking anonymously, hinted that she had a habit of rewriting lines, offering unsolicited advice to directors, or demanding script changes that favored her character arcs. Nothing definitive, just hazy accounts scattered around social media and gossip columns. For a while, fans dismissed these as trivial rumors or jealousy aimed at a rising star. After all, it's not uncommon for an ambitious actor to want creative control. But a pattern of rumored controlling behavior, combined with her rumored dissatisfaction on Gossip Girl, started to paint an intriguing picture. Could it be that Blake Lively carefully molded the public's view of her, all the while making power moves behind the camera? To complicate matters, her personal life was on full display. She married Ryan Reynolds, becoming half of a Hollywood power couple. Their playful banter on social media had the internet swooning. Their circle of celebrity friends, including Taylor Swift, strengthened her star image. Everyone seemed to love the effortlessly chic couple who joked around in Instagram captions. Yet behind that witty facade, more tension may have been brewing. By the time Lively signed on to star in It Ends With Us, a film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, it seemed like yet another triumphant step in her career. She had the star power to command attention and the confidence to shape this project, possibly the biggest romantic drama in years. No one predicted that the film's production would soon be overshadowed by a legal fiasco that's still unraveling. It Ends With Us was poised for success. Blake Lively at the helm, Justin Baldoni, known for his activism and role on Jane the Virgin, co-producing and co-starring, and the original author, Colleen Hoover, offering guidance. The hype around the project was astronomical. Fans had dissected each new set photo, each rumored storyline. Then came the shock. Lively filed legal complaints alleging Justin Baldoni had engaged in inappropriate onset behavior. She claimed a variety of forms of misconduct occurred, raising eyebrows throughout Hollywood. Suddenly, the bright spotlight fixed on it ends with us turned scorching, and social media split between those who stood with Lively and those who urged caution until the facts emerged. Before the dust settled, Baldoni fired back, filing a countersuit for over $400 million, accusing Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist of orchestrating a smear campaign. According to him, negative stories were placed in the press to undermine him just as he launched production company initiatives. In a bombshell move, Baldoni unveiled a website dedicated to detailing his side of the story, complete with more than 300 pages of alleged evidence, emails, text messages, and behind-the-scenes notes. Among these materials was a timeline that spanned multiple years, starting from the initial negotiations for the film to the very public meltdown that erupted. In one text exchange, Baldoni apparently thanked Lively for her input on a pivotal rooftop scene, praising her script notes. According to him, it was a normal collaborative exchange. However, he insists that Lively seized on this conversation, twisting it into ammunition for legal claims. At the heart of his lawsuit is the accusation that Lively, Reynolds, and possibly other high-profile allies used their clout and media connections to paint him as a predator, regardless of the truth. The entire fiasco has baffled fans. Baldoni, widely recognized for his stance against toxic masculinity and his outspoken support for #MeToo, finds himself labeled as an offender in a movement he ardently defended. Critics question whether he's living a double life, or if Lively's claims are overblown. The deeper one digs into these lawsuits, the more perplexing they become. Did Lively truly experience wrongdoing at Baldoni's hands, or is it a strategic move to control the narrative and overshadow potential creative differences? No matter the outcome, the fiasco has overshadowed the actual film. Now, It Ends With Us is less about a best-selling novel's adaptation and more about a labyrinth of allegations, text messages, and swirling conspiracies. For many onlookers, it's a cautionary tale that Hollywood alliances can implode under stress, revealing the shaky bedrock beneath even the most anticipated projects. In the midst of the storm, fans turned an expecting gaze toward one of Blake Lively's closest confidants, Taylor Swift. Over the years, Swift and Lively have flaunted a famously tight bond, exchanging sweet social media posts, going on double dates, and crafting heartfelt holiday photos. Taylor even featured Lively's children's names in her songs. So if Lively is truly under attack, why hasn't her high-profile bestie spoken up? That puzzling silence has launched 1,000 fan theories. Some propose that Swift is taking her time, hoping the facts will sort themselves out before making a public stand. Others suspect Swift's refusal to chime in might reveal doubts about Lively's allegations. After all, Taylor Swift is well known for defending friends who she believes are victims of injustice. She wrote entire songs calling out the industry's exploitative nature and has used her platform to shine light on social and political issues. Why would she hold back in this case? A viral online thread suggests that Swift's neutrality could be a subtle sign that Lively's claims might not be as airtight as they first appear. If Swift had even a shred of certainty about Lively's side of the story, wouldn't she at least say something like, "I stand by my friend"? Another plausible angle is that Swift might not want to get tangled in a messy legal dispute. She's faced her own controversies and lawsuits before, and perhaps she's wary of diving into yet another drama that might backfire. Still, the hush from one of music's biggest superstars is deafening. Some fans who initially sided firmly with Lively are now reconsidering. If Swift isn't publicly supporting her, maybe there's an entire dimension we don't see. Maybe Swift knows more than outsiders do and is opting to stay out of it entirely. Her famous reluctance could speak volumes, hinting that alliances in Hollywood are never as straightforward as they appear on Instagram. Then there's Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively's husband and comedic force behind the Deadpool franchise. In many eyes, he's the living embodiment of wit, known for good-natured social media spats with Lively that fans find endearing. Yet, according to Justin Baldoni's allegations, Reynolds played a critical part in pushing negative press about Baldoni's alleged wrongdoing. Baldoni's lawsuit claims that Reynolds and Lively used their considerable influence to plant damaging stories, aiming to sink Baldoni's reputation before the film premiered. Is it possible that this power couple used hush-hush Hollywood channels to smear a co-star? Some find this scenario unimaginable, given Reynolds' playful public persona. Others argue that it wouldn't be the first time a Hollywood elite leveraged media outlets to sculpt a narrative. Rumors abound of star-studded parties, where deals are brokered in a swirl of champagne and half-smiles, and where tabloids are offered exclusives in return for friendly coverage. As if that weren't enough, speculation circulates that certain brand deals tied to Lively might be on shaky ground. Companies typically distance themselves from scandal, and the more this legal mess escalates, the riskier it becomes to remain linked to either side. Meanwhile, Baldoni is not exactly powerless himself. He has connections through his production company and a track record of philanthropic and inclusive projects that gained him respect. If he can prove in court that Lively's allegations were orchestrated or exaggerated, the repercussions could boomerang back on her image. All the while, the public fixates on drama after drama, but rarely on the actual content of the film they once clamored to see. Movie buffs who initially picked up It Ends With Us in anticipation of a heartfelt adaptation now find themselves reading legal documents, analyzing text exchanges, and dissecting bold headlines. Perhaps the only winner here is the gossip cycle, which thrives on the never-ending drip of leaks and updates. When controversies this explosive hit Hollywood, they typically leave reputations in tatters. For Blake Lively, the shift is jarring. She went from a beloved star of teen TV and stylish movie lead to the center of scandal and suspicion. Even if she emerges victorious in court, the lingering doubt about her behind-the-scenes approach may stick. Viewers and industry professionals alike are discovering parts of her personality that contradict the breezy, friendly star once seen in press interviews. Speculation also swirls among the major studios. Will they hesitate to hire an actress mired in legal strife, especially if it means potential PR headaches? Or is Lively's star power still bright enough that the public will eventually forgive and forget? Hollywood is fickle. Scandals can be career killers or mere bumps on the road to a comeback. A big commercial success or an award-winning performance can overshadow a tarnished moment. But it's equally likely that a swirl of negative press can derail big projects, leaving an actor with fewer roles and diminishing star wattage. Meanwhile, other cast and crew members from Lively's past remain tight-lipped. Some are rumored to be quietly cheering on Baldoni, believing his squeaky clean brand is more authentic than Lively's. Others recall positive experiences with Lively, describing her as a consummate professional. It's almost impossible to glean the full truth from so many conflicting takes. Yet one theme keeps popping up, that Lively, or will she become a cautionary tale of a star who rose too high, only to stumble under the weight of her own Hollywood ambitions? The choice rests not just in the verdict of a lawsuit, but in the way fans will interpret every rumor, statement, and newly unearthed tidbit of gossip. In the end, the biggest question might be, does the real truth even matter in an industry shaped by perception, spin, and carefully guarded secrets? Only time